we go. All right. So one of the first question they will ask you guys is this. Find the next two terms, in the sequence. All right. So when they ask you to find the next two terms in the sequence, the first thing you need to do is to decipher what is that pattern, okay? Now, the pattern, when we're talking about a geometric, here, let me write this down for you guys, a geometric sequence, that number that we keep multiplying over and over again to get to the next term is called a common ratio. Now, the common ratio, normally we use the letter R to represent it. Now, this is the number, okay, that is multiplied over and over again to get to the next term. By the way, division and multiplication, they go hand in hand. For example, okay, in this problem, to go from 12 to 6, you could do it one of two ways, okay? You can multiply by 1/2, okay? Multiply by 1/2. When you take a number, you multiply it by 1/2, you cutting it, okay? You reducing it. Or you could say you're dividing it by 2 to get to the next term. So multiplying by 1/2, dividing by 2 is exactly the same thing, guys, okay? So multiplication and addition, multiplication and division are inverses of each other. So when we talk about the geometric sequences, we're talking about a sequence where each term is found by multiplying by a number, each term by a number called the common ratio. That number that you keep multiplying over and over again to get to the next term, we call it the common ratio. Okay, so guys, here's the question for you. Can you guys tell me what the next number in the sequence should be? Hint, hint, hint. It's a fraction. Anybody? Okay. All right. So first thing, guys, what is the number that we're multiplying each term by to get to the next number? Can you tell what it is? Either multiply or divide by. You can type it in the chat or you can say it.
2.
I think it's 2.
Okay. What are we doing with the 2? Are we going to multiply it or we're going to divide it?
Divide.
Yes, we're going to divide each term by 2. Now, when you divide by 2, guys, what you have to realize is that's the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. Think about it, guys, okay? If I take 12, I divide it by 2, I get 6, right? If I take 6, I divide it by 2, I get 3, right? Now, if I were to say, what is half of 12? Half of 12. By the way, that's still multiplication, okay? What's half of 12, guys?
6.
6. What's half of 6?
3.
Okay. Now, notice I keep saying half of, okay? When I say half of that number, the word of means multiplication, guys. So essentially, I am multiplying each number by 1/2. And when you're multiplying by 1/2, this is the same thing as dividing by 2. You see that? So when I ask you what is the next term in this sequence, remember, all I'm doing is multiplying each number by 1/2. Okay, the common ratio is 1/2. So you would take the last number in the sequence and multiply it by 1/2. So what would be the next answer, guys? If I multiply it by 1/2, what's the next answer? Oh, come on, guys, you can do it. No?
6/2.
Go ahead, say it again. Did you say 6/2?
Yeah, 6/2.
Okay, all right. Anybody else with a different answer? Okay, very good. All right, so let's look. We're gonna multiply the 3/2 by 1/2. I'm glad, Mojan, you asked this question because this is one of the questions a lot of students have issues with when it comes to fractions, okay? So let me go ahead and erase some of these. And then I'll go ahead and go over it. We're looking for the next two terms in the sequence, all right? And remember, you asked for a fraction, Moijan, so I'm doing the one with the fraction. Okay, so we've already decided that the common ratio is 1/2. We're multiplying each number by 1/2. So if the last number in the sequence is 3/2, to get the next one, we're going to take the 3/2 and multiply it by 1/2. Now, I think that was Kimanda that was answering. When you're multiplying here, guys, you're just going to multiply the numerators together, multiply the denominators together. So we do 3 times 1, which is 3, and 2 times 2 gives us 4. So the next term in the sequence, guys, is going to be 3/4. I think it was Kimanda who gave me 6/2, I think you said, Kimanda.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, okay. All right. That was Jasmine. Okay, so Jasmine, I think you took the 2 and multiplied it by 3/2. But you have to realize is that we're multiplying by 1/2. Okay? So think about it this way in your head. If you have something, you're cutting it up in half, okay? Now, 3/2, that's an easy fraction because 3/2, if you change it to a decimal, it's going to become 1.5. So, Kimanda, if you have $1.50 and you split it in half, what would it become? What would it become if you split it in half? What would it be? It would be 75 cents. Remember, $1.50 is like 6 quarters, okay? So if you have 6 quarters, you split it in half, you're going to get 3/4. What is 3/4? 75 cents, okay? So think about it this way. I always tell my students, when you cannot figure out a problem, think about money, because individuals love money. They love talking about money. So once they start thinking about money, it makes it easier for them. All right, guys. So that's the next term. Okay, remember, we're supposed to be finding the next two terms. So what's the next one after 3/4, guys? You can drop it in the chat or you can turn on the mic and tell me. What's the next one after 3/4?
1/8. Oh, sorry, 3/8.
3/8. Very good. Okay. So to get the next one, guys, we're going to take the 3/4 now and multiply it by 1/2. Okay. We take the 3/4, the last term, and multiply it by 1/2. So 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8. So the next term is 3/8. And there you go. All right. Now remember, you asked for a fraction, Sugar Plum.
Yes, I remember.
All right. So now here's another question you might get, guys. What is, let me see, what term are we on? We're on, let's see here. Ooh, this is going to be hard, but we can do it. And, well, it would require a calculator. So let me go ahead and attack that one. Okay. So how are you feeling about this question, Mojan?
The next step that we have to take, kind of nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so I'm feeling kind of nervous.
What's the next step?
Well, we have to write an equation, right? Okay.
Write the equation? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to write a general equation to calculate any term. And the general equation is basically a general formula, okay?
Yes.
Any term in the sequence. Did she give you guys this formula right here? AN equals to A1 times R to the N minus 1 power. Did she give you that formula?
Yes.
Yes, she did.
Do you guys understand what each variable means?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So then in this problem, the N represents the term that you're looking for. Since you're not looking for a specific term, you leave it blank. Wherever you find N, you leave it blank. The A1 is the first term in the sequence, and you have that. What is the first term in the sequence?
12.
Wow, very good. And then the R value is that number we keep multiplying over and over to get to the next term. What's the R value?
1/2.
1/2, okay? So since you have your A1, you have your R, you don't have the N, you go ahead into the formula and you plug in the values that you do have. So the general formula would be AN is equal to 12 times, okay, we're gonna put the R in parentheses, 1/2 raised to the N minus 1 power. And that's the formula, that's it. Now, listen, I know some of you may be tempted, okay, to multiply 12 times 1/2. No, you can't do that. Here's why you can't do that, guys. Because of PEMDAS. PEMDAS, order of operation, if you guys remember it, it says you got to do your parentheses first. Then what do you do after that? Exponents. And then after you do exponents, you go on to multiplication. Well, for this problem, you can't do anything with the exponents, okay? So you have to leave it like that. And so you cannot go and multiply 12 times 1/2 first and then forget about the exponent. Nope, you can't. So guys, you leave it like this. Now, there's an alternate way to express this formula, but I don't think she went that far with you guys, so I'm not even going to bother to go that far with you guys, okay?
Okay.
You good with this one?
Yes.
All right, so let me see if I could find another one for you guys. A geometric sequence. All right, so let me erase this one right here. And let me give you this one right here. Okay, so for this one, guys, I am looking at 5. Oops, let me start it over again. All right, clear this out. Okay, this one is 5, comma, -1, comma, 1/5, comma, -1/25. All right, I know Jasmine is participating, Moijan is participating. Ladies, what about the rest of you ladies? Come on, ladies. I love participation, Amber, Kylie, Lindsay, Kimanda. I love participation. Guys, you're here. Make the best of it, okay? So guys, on this one right here, what are the next 2 terms in this sequence right here? What are the next 2 terms? Okay, at least give me the next one. What's the next one, guys? Who's got it? Drop it in the chat for me. Who's got the next term? And then I'm gonna give you guys a word problem next. Nobody knows what the next term is? Okay, how about this, guys? What is the common ratio? What is that number that you're multiplying each term by to get to the next one? Can you guys see it? No? Okay, so let me help you guys to figure out the common ratio. One of the ways to calculate the common ratio, guys, is to go ahead and choose 2 consecutive terms, like the 5 and the -1, and then divide them, okay? So for you to figure out the common ratio, let me go back to the one that we did previously, guys. 12, 6, 3, I think the next one is 3/2. So if we wanted to figure out the common ratio for this one, we would take 2 consecutive terms like the 6 and the 3, and then we would take the second number and divide it by the third number divided by the second number, and this will reduce to 1/2. That's how you calculate the common ratio. So you can do this with any of the geometric sequences, guys. So calculate, okay, the common ratio, pick 2 consecutive terms and divide them, but you got to take the second one divided by the first one, okay? And it doesn't necessarily have to be the first 2. It could be the second 2, okay? It doesn't have to be the first 2. Oh, Shanaibi is here. Okay. Shanibi, hi, welcome back, Sugar Plum. How was your spring break? She didn't even host a class for my period yet yesterday. Oh, okay, Kylie. Okay, so in other words, Kylie, you're getting a head start on this stuff. So when you get to class now, you're going to impress her with your knowledge of geometric sequences. Make sure you speak up, okay, Kylie? And you show her how much you know. Oh, that's gonna be awesome. All right. All right, guys. So are you guys okay with the common ratio for this one? R equals to -1/5. So guys, if you don't know, okay, how to find the common ratio, remember this is the first term, and this is the second term. To find the common ratio, you take the second term divided by the first term and just reduce it, okay guys? That's how you find it. Take the second term divided by the first term. Or just find any two consecutive terms and divide the second one by the first one, okay? So guys,
Miss,
yes, go ahead.
oh, thank you. Okay, so to find the term, the ratio number, I have to do R equals the first term and the second term.
Okay.
And then that's how I'll get it.
To find the second term, I mean the R value, the common ratio, you're going to take the second term. Oh, let me erase that. Okay, you're going to take, this is your second term right here. You're going to divide it by the first term. Okay, you're going to take it, divide it by the first term. Now, if you're not sure, listen, you can check it. How do you check it? If I take 5 and I multiply it by -1/5, look at this, guys, okay? Look, 5, I'm gonna put it over 1 because I'm multiplying fractions. 5 times -1 is -5. In the denominator, 1 times 5 is 5. Remember, a fraction is a division problem, guys. A fraction is a division problem. So this is actually saying -5 divided by 5 is -1. You see how it gives us the second term? Yeah, so you can check it too. So just pick 2 terms, Moijan, and then take the second number divided by the first number. Take the second number divided by the first number. If you do it the other way around, Moijan, look, if you do 5 divided by -1, that's gonna give you a -5. So if -5 is the common ratio, we take -5, we multiply it by +5, that's not gonna give us -1, it won't work. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, so, okay, I understand.
Okay.
So to find the next number, I would have to do -1/5 divided by -1/5.
Remember, this is still multiplication, okay? We're still multiplying. So to find the next one, this is the last number in the sequence right here, okay? So now to find the next one, you're gonna take the -1/25 and multiply it by the common ratio. Remember, the common ratio is that number you keep multiplying over and over again to get the next term. Yeah. So if you were to take the -1/5 and multiply it by -1/5, that one would give you, actually it's +1/5. Okay, so that one would give you -1/25. Okay, that's this term right there. So now to find the next one, you take the -1/25, multiply it by -1. First and foremost, guys, a negative times a negative is a positive, okay? So you're gonna get a +1/25 times 5 is 125. So 1/125 is the next term. All right, how about you guys try finding the next one after 1/125? I feel like I should have started with something easier, but Moijan said, I want to do a fraction. So that's why we're doing that, guys. Okay, guys, tell me, what's next? What's the next term? Come on, guys, you can do this. Anybody?
-1/625.
Very good, Jasmine, very good. -1/625, excellent. So Jasmine is essentially taking the 1 over 125 and multiplying it by the common ratio of -5 to get the -1 over 625. Very good. Excellent. All right, so do you guys want to try out for the formula? Do you guys want to try?
Yes, please.
Huh?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's do the formula next. All right, guys. So again, I'm not sure if they're going to provide the formulas on the test for you. So these are some of the things that you might have to memorize. I don't do Algebra 1, so I really cannot tell you if they're going to allow you the formula. Ask your teacher if you're going to have the formula on the test, if you should see problems like this. But here's the formula once again, A1 times R to the n minus 1. And some of you may be wondering, well, how do I differentiate the geometric versus the arithmetic formula, okay? See, guys, in the geometric formula, we have the R value in there, okay, and plus its multiplication. And with the arithmetic formula, it's AN equals to A1 plus N minus 1 times D. And that D value there is the common difference. That's the number that you keep adding over and over again to get to the next term. See, two different formulas. So how do you know? The arithmetic sequence has a D, the geometric sequence has an R, okay? So that's an easy way to remember which one is which. All right, guys. So once again, we don't have N, but we do have A1. And what's the value of A1, guys? A1 is 5.
5.
And what's the value of R? -1/5. Okay, so now you go into the formula, guys, plug in those values, substitute those values in. So when you substitute the values in, you get AN is equal to 5 times R, and R is -1/5. And we're going to raise it to the n minus 1 power. And there you go. That's your formula. And you leave it like that, guys. You can't do anything else with it. Now, once you get to the upper level math classes like pre-calculus, you can actually take this, okay, and rewrite it in a different form. But for now, you guys are in Algebra 1, this is perfectly fine. All right, I am going to digress just a little bit, guys, because especially since Kylie said, you know what, I haven't been to class and we haven't even spoken about this. So let me backtrack just a little bit, guys, so we could do one that is easier for those of you who haven't done these problems yet. And then if you want me to do another one involving fractions, I can do another one involving fractions, okay? So guys, here's the next one. This one is 1.5, comma, -3, comma, 6, comma, -12. This is the arithmetic sequence. All right, guys. So here's the first question. What is the common ratio? What is that number we're multiplying each term by to get to the next one? And you need to know what the, by the way, we call that the pattern. What's the pattern, okay? 2? Everybody agree it's 2? So if I take -3 and I multiply it by 2, is it going to give me +6? What?
-2.
-2. Very good. It has to be a negative, guys, because it has to make sense for every single term in the sequence. So if you take 1.5, you multiply it by -2, it gives you -3. And if you take -3, you multiply it by -2, it has to give you the +6. Likewise, if you take 6, you multiply it by -2, it has to give you -12. Okay, so now, guys, your turn. What are the next 2 terms? You guys find them. You guys should be able to do this one because I made this one easy on purpose.
24.
24, yes. And then what's the next one after that?
Negative 48.
Negative 48. Jasmine, you got this. This is really good. Awesome. Any questions, guys? All right. Go ahead.
For the last problem that we did, when we usually do this with our algebra teacher, she actually like goes further. Like we actually solve the equation.
You mean you find like something like this? Find the 10th term, something like this? Is that what she's asking you to do?
Oh no, I know how to do that.
Okay.
But remember like when we did the last equation, I didn't have a chance to finish copying down the answer, but didn't we have to solve for it?
No, you're just creating a general formula so that you can find any term in the sequence. You don't have to solve for it, okay? So for example, the problem might ask you to find the third term. If it asks you to find the third term, you would go into the formula, plug in 3 for every n, because n represents the term number. Now, this is where it gets a little complicated, okay? Because you're looking for the third term. So you would plug in the 3 for every term, every n, and then try to work it out. So here you get 5 times negative 1/5 to the second power. Okay, this is why it gets tricky, okay? Negative 1/5 to the second power, guys. You would have to multiply that out. When you multiply that out, it's going to give you 1/25 because that's negative 1/5 times negative 1/5. And then you're going to have to simplify this, okay? So 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 25 is 25. And when you reduce this, what do you get? 1/5. Remember, 1/5 was the third term. Do you remember that? Well, you have it written down. So look at the third term. Does it say 125? 1/5, I mean?
Yes, negative 1/25.
The third term?
Oh no, it was the third term was 1/5.
Yeah, that's what we just found. Remember, I was looking for the third term. I used the formula. I plugged in 3 for every n, and then worked it out and found the value of the third term.
Yes, yes.
So once you create that formula will help you to calculate any term in that pattern, in that sequence. All right, guys. So while I'm still on this one, I still have it on the screen. Can somebody tell me what the general formula is? What would be the formula for this one that's on the screen right now? AN equals to what, guys? What would be the general formula? AN is equal to, go ahead. What is it?
A comma R n minus 1.
Well, just give me the formula. You don't have to give me the formula for this specific geometric sequence. Don't give me the general formula for everything. Just give it to me for this specific sequence. So if I were to ask you to write this formula for this geometric sequence, what would it be?
Okay, it would be AN equals the first term, which is 1.5. And then the common ratio was -2. N minus 1.
Very good, okay? Now, I am going to take this a step further, guys, okay? We might have to use a calculator. I don't even have a calculator next to me, okay? And so on this one, guys, listen, I'm gonna ask you to find the 10th term. Shazam. I'm gonna ask you to find the 10th term. What is the 10th term in this pattern? So far, guys, we figured out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms. Now, I want you to figure out the 10th term. And so, because you have that formula that will help you to calculate any term in that sequence, you can just go into the formula, guys. Look, you substitute 10n for every n you find. So this will be a sub 10, a sub 10. Here, let me write this down for you guys. A sub 10. For those of you who haven't learned this in your class, make sure you impress Miss Patterson tomorrow, okay? A sub 10 will equal to 1.5 times negative 2. Then you're going to raise it to the 10 minus 1 power. Order of operation, guys, says do the exponent first. So here, 10 minus 1 gives you 9. Now, you have to get a calculator, guys, and type this into the calculator. When you type it into the calculator, it's going to be 1.5 times, that's multiplication. Okay, use the multiplication symbol, times negative 2 in parentheses. You have to put the parentheses. Hit your power button and raise it to the 9th power, guys, okay? And that will give you your answer. I have no clue what the answer is. Let me grab my calculator on my cell phone here. Can I even find my calculator? Somebody put it on a calculator, please. I usually have a calculator here, but I'm not seeing my calculator right now, guys. Okay, where's my calculator on here? I never use the calculator on here, guys. Where is my calculator? Shazam.
I don't think there's that button on the calculator on the phone because I couldn't find mine.
Let me tell you, it looks like this: y to the x or x to the y. Look for it. And you have to turn your calculator sideways, okay? Turn your phone sideways.
Okay, thank you.
Where is my calculator? See, this is a new cell phone for me, and I'm not finding my calculator on here, guys. Let me search for it. Calculator. Okay, guess what pops up? The calendar. What? I don't have a calculator on here? Shazam. That's funny. I don't have a calculator on here. I have to download a calculator, guys. Okay? That's funny. Okay, did you guys do it? What'd you guys get?
Negative 768.
That sounds really good. Negative 768. Now, if you did not put the parentheses around the negative 2, guys, it wouldn't have worked. Okay? Yeah, you have to put the parentheses around the negative 2 in order for it to work. See, I just downloaded my calculator. Let me go ahead and show you guys on the screen what my, hold on a sec. Hold on a second. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see it on my calculator. Let me see, where is it? Right here. It's next to the 1, guys. You see what my button looks like next to the 1? That's the exponent button right there. You see it? There you go, right there. X to the Y, okay? So when you turn that calculator sideways, it can do it for you, okay? All right, guys. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit more comfortable now with these geometric sequences, okay? As promised, I was gonna do a word problem with you guys because I know, I think it was Shanibi that says, you know, Miss Officer, I have a problem with word problems, okay? So guys, here's a little word problem, and we'll make this one the last one we do. And this one says, okay, suppose you save $1 on day 1. Wait a minute, it's not writing yet. I'm gonna create a little chart for you guys. Amount. Okay, so day 1, you save $1. Day 2, it says, you're going to save $2 on the second day. And then day 3, it says you're going to save $4. You're going to save $4. And so, and it says, and so forth and so on. What will you have saved on the 15th day, guys, okay? So on day 4, you would have $8 saved up. You see this, okay? On day 5, you would have $16 saved up. So the question is, how much money will you have set aside on the 15th day, guys? How much money will you have set aside? That's the question. This one right here, everybody, is a geometric sequence, okay? Now, what do we look for the geometric sequence? What are we looking at? We look at the amount of money we have, okay? So the first question you have to ask yourself is, what is the common ratio? What is that number I'm multiplying every single term by to get to the next one? What's the common ratio, guys?
Times 2.
Times 2. Very good. Okay. Now we go into our little formula, guys. Okay. We're looking for the 15th term. We have the first term. What's the first term? 1. We have the R value, which is 2. Jasmine just told us that. And then the term number we're looking for is the 15th term. So guys, once we clean this up, look at what we end up with. The 1 multiplying by all of this becomes irrelevant. So it's just going to be 2 raised to the 14th power. So you go ahead and plug that into your calculator, guys. 2 to the 14th power. So on the 15th day, this person will have a whopping total of 16. I'm just copying this from my book here. 16384. So this reflects $16,384, guys. That's a geometric sequence, guys. Any questions? Are you guys feeling more comfortable with this now?
Yes.
All right, very good. Jasmine said yes. What about you, Moijan?
Can you repeat what you said, please?
Okay. On how to do the problem, or are you comfortable with this?
Oh, yes, I am.
Okay, good, good, good.
Thank you.
Ladies, what about the rest of you? You didn't say anything, guys. Well, I shouldn't be saying guys. I should be saying ladies. You didn't say anything. Nothing? You're good, Shanibi. I didn't hear you today. You didn't say anything. Nobody has any questions? All right, guys. I feel like, let me see, what time is it? Do we have time for another one? Yeah, I think we can do another one. Let me see here. 48,000 with raises, no. I'm looking for another geometric sequence word problem, guys. Okay. I mean, we could do the same problem here, except I could ask you for a different day. Like how much will you have on the 30th day? But that's gonna defeat the purpose because it's, let me see. The handshake problem is the same thing. This is the penny doubling. I think I'm gonna, you know what? Let me see here. Do we have enough time for that? I don't think we have enough time for that. I was gonna look through the review questions and see if I could find something. No, I'm good with this. It's pretty simple. All right, good, good, good. I'm glad it's pretty simple. Guys, don't forget to ask your teachers when you're taking your Algebra 1 AOC, so you know what you need to do in order to get ready for it. Additionally, when you guys are going through your classes, if you have questions about your problems, you can reach out to me and I'll try and reach out to you as soon as I can, because during the day I am teaching my classes at the school, but at the same time, if you have questions, you can drop it in Teams and then I will try and reach out to you, okay? So I am here for you guys. Ask me questions anytime, okay? Ask questions.